Hello, this is James. Espa has come to the gate at level 40, and I know that there are many eager duelists that want to farm him for his reward drops. So, here are two decks to use to farm Espa. The first one is Guardian Statue, Medusa Worm, Planet Pathfinder, and Slifer the Sky Dragon. The Winged Dragon of Ra is not the only god that can be used for farming. We're also going to be using Slifer with infinite cards, with Acid Rain, and Array of Revealing Light. Array of Revealing Light is essential to this farming approach. There are no substitutions. So I have this deck, and the second deck is Duel, is Fire King Duel. And if you don't like that, then this is what I got. So we're going to take a look at both decks, and then we're going to take a look at replays. The advantage of this deck is that it's proven. It's tried and true. I did this deck 6 months ago when my hair was much shorter and my camera presence was much less smexy. So we're having a refresh now. And the way it's played is you set your Guardian Statues, you set your Medusa Worms on a clean field, and I'll show you what I mean in the replays. And you activate your Array of Revealing Light, and you search for it with Planet Pathfinder. Basically, Array of Revealing Light makes it so that the monsters, the machine-type monsters, cannot attack. You declare a machine, they can't attack, and then Espa summons his monsters, and then they don't do anything, and then you flip up Medusa Worm, destroy the one monster, flip up the Guardian Statue, send the monster back to the hand, and then you continue on like that for a while until his field is completely clear. You have no cards remaining, and you have a bunch of cards off of infinite cards to summon Slifer the Sky Dragon with 10k attack. Now, even with Slifer at 10k attack, which only happens if this goes all perfectly, if you don't have to waste any cards, if none of these get destroyed, and then you can have the 10 cards in your hand to power up the Slifer. You do not get maximum score. You'll get a maximum of 75 to 7,800 duel assessment points. I think back when I made this, I was using the campaign bonus. But anyway, so again, you have Planet Pathfinder, you have Array of Revealing Light. You restart for those cards, and then you can defend with enemy controller, because again, you can't use traps because of the Jinzo. So let's take a look at that replay. And Yugimoto versus Espa. So it takes much longer than the Fire King Duel farm, but it's more assured, but it has lower duel assessment. So this duel, I got 6,500. And here, all right, so we open up. This is how important the Array of Revealing Light is. Even though we have no monsters, we open with Array of Revealing Light. We're going to keep that. We play it and we declare machine, and that makes Guardian of the Throne Room stuck. Now, Guardian of the Throne Room is not stuck anymore. Alright, so now we have to keep track of who's stuck. So Guardian of the Throne Room is not stuck. Scrap Recycler is stuck, but it doesn't matter because its attack is lower than the defense of Guardian Statue. So we're going to protect it with the enemy controller. Alright, and then we clutch draw the Acid Rain. So if we didn't do that, we would have to continuously protect with our enemy controller. But since we have Acid Rain, we can just destroy both of those monsters. Now a note on the Scrap Recycler. If at all possible, if you have, now we're not worried about, we're not sending him back to the hand, because we're not sending the Scrap Recycler back to the hand, because it draws, unless we have to, like we have to right now, because it draws more cards out of the deck, and then we're going to send it back to the hand, and then we set our Medusa Worm. So if at all possible, we want to destroy the Scrap Recyclers with the Medusa Worm, as we see here. This deck does work, but unlike the Golden Ladybug Ra or Fire King Duel farm deck, oh yes, Jinzo walks the earth. We're going to send that back to the hand. What happened there was Returner got destroyed off of Medusa Worm, and then we send the Guardian statue, send the Jinzo back to the hand. That's perfectly safe, but we want to make sure we destroy the Scrap Recyclers with the Medusa Worm. So, unlike with anything with the God card, well, anything with the Winged Dragon of Ra, and that's why we have extra monsters, because of his tribute to the Doomed, and he's not going to use Brainwashing thing on face-down monsters. Or he might, but no, I think Brainwashing hands has to be face-up. Anyway, with this deck, you have to constantly click every single card, and I know this pain. I have all of Espa's cards already farmed using this farm deck, and that's why I'm going to recommend the Fire King Yubel farm deck. And then here I'm hoping to draw the Pot of Benevolence, free to play, Shard of Greed, but we don't get it. We get Slifer with 6k attack, so that's a 5k attack point bonus. And this farm again had a dual assessment of 6,500 points, but it would have been 7,000 had we been able to get the over 10k attack. Now let's go into the Duel World GX world. I know not everyone has the cards for Fire King Yubel, but it is incredibly effective. The only hiccup is that he can steal. Well, you can't use Solemn Wishes. You have to have Golden Ladybug. He can steal your second form Yubel with the brainwashing, the hands that grab the monster. So that's something to look out for, but that's why we tech in the Karibo. And since the point of this deck is to gain life, now when he tributes the Yubel, you don't get the second form because it's tributed, not destroyed. Well, that was told to me. So don't expect to get your third form Yubel if your second form gets stolen and tributed. But with gaining up the life points and keeping spare Yubels in hand and our teched in Karibo, we should be okay. So the Yubel gets stolen, we tank up the hit, and we destroy another Yubel and start the cycle anew. Our special summon monsters: Caligo Claw Crow, Lucius the Shadow Vassal. Everyone should have this. If you don't have it, just use any other special summoning monster. Karibo, Yaksha, 1 Barong, 3 Ladybug, 1 anti-cheese arrows, and 1 Fire King Island. You need the anti-cheese arrows because he does have pulse mines. He has 2 pulse. So the reason I'm pushing the Yubel is because he only has the 1 brainwashing card, right? But he has 2 pulse mines, so that's why we definitely have to have our anti-magic arrows. And you know what? The behavior now, Espa tends to run out of monsters because Scrap Recycler's dumping them all out of the deck for him. But this might require a piercing card onto the Ra. This hasn't been fully tested, but I think that you know it can do the trick, and it does it much faster and with more readily available cards than other farming approaches. So he has a face down, and we're just going to get his life points down since we're not worried about effect damage at all with these God card farming decks. We're going to get his life points down to lethal range so that even if we screw up, even if everything goes sideways, we can still potentially get lethal without summoning the Ra if like you do, like what I did last time, which is accidentally discard your Caligo Claw Crow, and then you can't tribute for the Ra, but that's alright. So we got Fire King Island, and again, Yubel is just bulletproof. Like the Fire King and the Yubel, it's an indestructible, self-replacing monster, and you use the Fire King Island card, the field spell, to draw cards for you so that you can draw deck out before your opponent. So it's really, like, if you have the Yubel cards, this is really worth as a farming deck because it is incredibly effective. But if you don't have Yubel, you can use the Medusa Worms and the Guardian statues. So here's Yubel Terra Incarnate. I bring him back because Terra Incarnate is the more important form of Yubel Ultimate Nightmare. Amplifier, and then he tributes his Jinzo for another Jinzo. So I'm not super sure about that. Espa Roba, but we have no traps for him to disrupt. So the only thing about this deck is we have to kind of juggle the cards. We have to make sure we keep. Once all of our Fire Kings are out of the deck, we can't destroy anymore with Fire King Islands. We have to keep at least one Yaksha in hand and a Yubel in hand in case we have to destroy a fresh Yubel and get the second form out of the graveyard. Golden Ladybug. Alright, and see, like, so, in comparison to the Slifer deck where he had, we had 5 cards remaining and he had, like, 0 cards remaining. Now it's the opposite. Now it's 7 and 3. So we're going to deck out before him. We're going to get all of our goodies. We're going to discard the most expendable, the Golden Ladybug. And I think at this point, Espa's run out of monsters, so we don't... Oh, no, there's one more. There's Guardian of the Throne, Room. So anyway, so the behavior of AIs versus Yubel is that the AI sees a 0 attack point monster, and they play the monster in attack position, so you don't have to worry about piercing battle damage. But I have seen him play face-down monsters, so just be aware of that. Again, you might need a piercing card. Alright, and here's our final turn. Special summon the Claw Crow. Special summon the Lucius, the Shadow Vassal. Tribute for the glorious Winged Dragon of Ra and the anti-magic arrows against back row. That is non-existent. And this approach got... I think the full 8k, yeah, the full 8k off of Fire King Yubel with the Winged Dragon of Ra. So that's 2 decks to farm Espa Roba at the gate. Pick which one you like best. Thank you for watching.